It is absurd to think that Sonny Koufax is ready to raise a child.
Objection!
Shut up, Tommy.
Sorry, Mr. Koufax.
Your Honor, my son doesn't have health insurance. He doesn't know how to boil an egg. He filed for Social Security at the age of 30. He is a drain on the economy, on the country, and most of all, on me!
Alright guys, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that small little snippet of one of my favorite comedy movies of all time, which is of course Big Daddy. And I thought that little statement right there rings true to a lot of things, and especially in regards to this subject of this video, and that is of course we're going to be talking about the nature of applying for and receiving SSI and the whole process, and my personal experience using, or me trying to at least get into that with the disability and all that. And if you guys have not, or if you guys are brand new to the channel, first off, welcome in. My name is G. I mostly am a content creator for like the game of Call of Duty. I play a bunch of video games and all that, and occasionally I make rant videos where I talk about life, my experiences with a lot of type of things, and all types of topics and whatnot, and things that I find interesting, right? So one of the main particular things that I found very interesting was this, SSI, or Supplemental Security Income, and the whole process of trying to get into it being a fucking nightmare and very unfair to a lot of people that I do believe deserve and need the assistance, and a lot of people that are taking advantage of that system as well, who probably don't need it and yet receive it, and how they even get into that. And we'll definitely be discussing about that at a later time. But going forward with the video here, I do want to say that my experience here is going to be based on my process and me applying for and trying to get into that whole ordeal here in my state in Arizona. It might be different where you're at. I do understand that sometimes it might be different from state to state, but relatively the whole rules, I guess if you want to call them, are pretty much the same. You had to have a very significant, very debilitating illness where you are pretty much considered unfit or unable to work, that you are not able to body is the term that I've learned, that you cannot work or sustain any income on your own, because unfortunately even if you try to work, I feel this is where one of the negative things when it comes to SSI comes into play, is that even for those who try to even work a little bit, even part-time, they take your fucking benefits away. At least that's where it works here in Arizona. I mean, that's what I was pretty much told when I was applying for that. I couldn't work, or I couldn't have any source of income for up to a year. That I pretty much had to be completely useless and show that I have not worked, or else I would not qualify. So right off the bat, when you apply for SSI, or Supplemental Security Income, when you apply, your initial application will be denied. That's just something that will go unnoticed. It goes into a bin and just gets spit right back out. And this happens about 80% of the applications that people file. They just get automatically denied, and they expect you to come back and try to appeal the denial, and then you had to go through the whole process. So the reason why I say that 80% is because I do believe there's circumstances where if your doctors and all your specialists apply for you and help you in the process, you can get approved. I actually read articles and stories about how individuals who have very severe disabilities, and obviously this was the least of their worries. I don't think anybody that applies for Supplemental Security Income even cares about the fucking money. They just simply want some aid or some assistance, because they are in a very dire situation where they can't no longer provide for themselves, and them getting this help is pretty much what they need. But that's pretty much like the least of their worries, and I think a lot of people have their mindsets kind of skewed in that point. A lot of people see people that are applying for Social Security Income as greedy or fucking lazy, and there are people that do that. I won't take that away. There are people that do take advantage of the system in that way, but the majority of the individuals that apply for that actually do need that assistance because they can't work a full-time job or a part-time job. And yeah, so I have seen circumstances where people apply for Social Security and they actually receive it relatively quickly. For other people, like 80%, like I mentioned, are gonna be denied within the first application, then they expect you to appeal it. So my personal experience when I applied for supplemental security was actually the suggestion that my neurologist actually suggested I should do, because according to her, she determined that because of what I had, I wasn't going to be able to sustain a full-time job. And during that time, I was having a lot of chronic pain. I couldn't even sit more than an hour before my back started to fucking kill me, and I had to get up. Standing for long periods of time was also due, so I couldn't really do either or. I couldn't be standing up, I couldn't be sitting down. I had to kind of be moving as time went on. And in certain jobs, if you're working, like for example, if you're working in retail, you could ask for a stool, but most of the time these companies don't give a fuck, and they won't even offer you that, right? And some other jobs, if you want to work in a desk job, you can ask to move around, but again, you have to file a lot of like accommodation forms. You got to show a lot of proof, and I can understand why some people might be drawn off of that. Like, why do I have to show proof when I'm walking with a fucking cane, or I'm using a walker? And for some reasons, these fucking companies just need that on file and whatnot, and it's a whole hassle and all that. And it's crazy and all that, and I understand the frustration and all that. So I acquiesce, I guess. Ooh, that's a good word. That's a $5 word right there for you. And I went ahead and did it. So I was okay. I'll do it. So we had the first thing we obviously took care of was this residual capacity form that she had me do, where I was doing various tests like physical strength. I had to go on the ground and get up without any assistance, and she had to time me all that. She got like a little stool, and she kind of tested how fast I can get up the stools and all that. Oh, the steps, like, I guess you can say the steps, not stool. And it was a lot of physical type, like I guess physical tests that we had to do in order for her to write up this form. And she mentioned that there was just going to be needed in case my files or my application had to be appealed numerous times. And I believe after the second appeal, because like I mentioned, after you first apply, you will get denied, and then after you appeal that denial notice, they'll send you another letter within 6 months. It's a fucking process, and it's really annoying, man. But then yeah, it's not an easy thing. And it definitely is a whole process. And I will spoil this right now. I didn't get it, by the way. So just letting you guys know right now, I did not get accepted and all that. It had to go through the whole court thing, and I just figured it was just way too much, and it was more trouble than it was worth. And I figured I can still work, part-time. And thankfully I actually stuck to my guns, because this was before I was even working my 2 jobs that I am working right now. So yeah, it just goes to show you guys. Yeah. So it was a whole process. After the whole denial notice, I went I appealed the case, and then I didn't receive anything back for an additional 6 months. After the 6 months, they told me, okay, after further investigation, we concluded, and this is when I've sent them all my records, my residual capacity form with my neurologist, the letters that my neurologist and my doctors sent to them, and they concluded that there was still not sufficient information or evidence that I was deemed qualified to receive SSI. And actually, I want to read this portion for you. I'll probably post it on the screen here so we can be on the same page, because this was something that I actually researched, and they have this thing called the website that you can check, and they have a blue book. They call it the Blue Book of Disabilities, or what considered the categories that would automatically, or that would accept you into that SSI shit if you have any of these listings under their blue book. And I'm gonna skip down all the way here to section 11, which is neurological disorders, which is what I have. It's a neuromuscular disorder, neuromuscular dystrophy, mitochondrial myopathy, which affects my entire body. So under this selection here, selection number 11, neurological in adult, section 1, section 2, which is 11.1 is category of impairments, neurological disorders. 11.2 is epilepsy, which I do not have, thankfully. 11.4, vascular insult to the brain, I do not have. Let's see where I can find this. Cerebral palsy, spinal cord disorders, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis. This is actually the multiple sclerosis, this is actually the one that my brother actually has, and this is what got him accepted for his SSI, because my brother unfortunately does have the same disability that I do, only his is much more severe. In his very earlier stages of life, he was actually incubated in a bunch of chemicals and tubes and all that because he couldn't breathe on his own. He was under hospital supervision up to 3 years, so my brother was pretty bad, and you know, thankfully he actually got accepted, and it was under the multiple sclerosis. Out of all the things, that was the thing that got him the benefits. But yeah, the one I'm looking for here is muscular dystrophy. So this is what I was that was basically filed on, was under the muscular dystrophy. So muscular dystrophy here, under category A listed here, there's organization of motor function in two extremities, resulting in extreme limitations in the ability to stand up from a seated position, balance while they're standing or walking, or use of their upper extremities. Or in part B, marked limitations in physical functioning and in one of the following: understanding or remembering or applying information, interacting with others, or concentrating, persisting or maintaining pace, adapting or managing oneself. So I don't have part B, but I definitely do have part A. There's organization of motor function. So you guys recall in my rant video in regards to the Amazon firing, I mentioned all these things when I mentioned that I had limitations in regards to standing up, having walking problems, and using my upper extremities, lifting heavy objects. Like I cannot lift more than 5 pounds over my head, right? And under the residual capacity form that me and my neurologist, who is a fucking neurologist, multiple neurologists, tested, they concluded that yes, I do have severe limitations where I couldn't even carry more than 5 pounds over my head. I can't even stand upright without having to hold a surface, and if I fall to the fucking ground, I'm gonna need the assistance of another human being or the surface where I can throw myself over and push myself up. That is listed in this category, and I was denied. All right, and after the whole me trying to appeal that denial notice, again, like I mentioned, I waited 6 months, and then after the 6 months, they told me that they gathered all the information. And I'm actually wondering who the fuck is in charge of making these decisions, because on top of that, before it went to the court here, in the last denial notice, they sent me a doctor, like a separate doctor, someone that I have no idea who it was, and they sent me over to them so they can have, I guess, like what would it call, like a final physical, but also a final observation of your body, I guess. And I thought, okay, so they're gonna base their decision on this fucking doctor, or this, I don't even think it was a neurologist, just a doctor that has never seen me, has never even, you know, the only thing they have is my fucking records, but they have never done any tests on me. This person has never even spoken to me. I've never met him my entire fucking life, and they're gonna base their decision on what this doctor says. I can definitely see how it might be, because they might say, oh, maybe the person that's applying for SSI is working in cahoots with their neurologist, and they fucking paid them off somehow so they can write that. That is fucking stupid, in my opinion. If that's how they think, then they have their fucking thing way, ass backwards. Like it's probably an issue within the insider if that's really their concerns, right? So they basically had me go see this doctor who is somebody that I have never known, who is not in my network, doesn't even know none of my neurologists, hasn't seen me in my past appointments, surgeries, therapies, and all that. This nobody. And they're going to base their decision on what his, tests are. So I go in there, and it's basically the same thing. They told me, okay, so we're just going to do this physical. And right off the bat, you can tell this person didn't even want to be there. It's because I guess they just tell him, oh, you're just going to have this one patient or this person that's going to go there for the physical because he's applying for SSI. And that's it. They basically tell him a set piece on how they want him to conduct his study and his evaluation. And some doctors don't like that. I've actually had my neurologist said that they actually had quite a few cases where they were told that they had to be that they're going to be evaluated based on certain questions that their superiors were asking, and they don't like that. But thankfully, they still went ahead and did the thorough studies upon my my whole situation. So I understand sometimes some of these doctors don't like that. They don't like to be told, oh, you have to hit these points. No, let me do my fucking job. I'm a doctor. I've been trained and licensed to do this. Let me do my own fucking study. Let me do it. But yeah, so I went ahead and did it, and Lord and behold, though, this person actually ends up saying the same fucking thing that my neurologist and my doctor were saying. Yeah, you have severe fucking limitations because, yeah, I know. I was born with this fucking illness. I think I know when I have a limitation. I think I know what it's like to not be able to carry more than 10 fucking pounds. And I think I know what it's like to struggle to get off the fucking ground, not being able to run ever in my whole entire life. I think I know that. And I've been talking to my neurologist for years. So I think we kind of have a little bit of a saying and understanding of what the fuck we're going through. So he actually said, yeah, you do have severe limitations. Yeah, so let me go ahead and send this fucking shit through. And he sends it. And guess what, guys? I end up getting fucking denied either way. So they had me go through all these things, and doctors, neurologists, I guess third-party doctors, they all said the same thing. Yeah, hey, Gabriel, you do have severe fucking limitations, but you know what? You still don't qualify. So no, you're denied. You want to appeal? Okay, the next appeal is going to be a court hearing. And that's when I said, you know what? Fuck this, man. I've been doing this shit for a whole year. We're going to over almost 2 years, actually, at this point. And now it's going to the point where I had to get a court hearing to get my case heard and all that. And I just thought, you know what? Fuck, keep your fucking $800. I don't care. I'll probably have a better chance to get it employed and find someone that actually follows the ADA and actually gives me a position where I can work and not have to rely on your fucking measly $800 fucking dollars. And the reason why I say 800 because back then it was actually $760. They just recently got an increase. I know this because, like I mentioned, my brother is receiving this. So yeah, if they think people can live off fucking $800 of some $840 of supplemental security income when apartments here in the state of Arizona, a one studio apartment can cost over $1,000. These fuckers are insane, man. And they have to really fix their fucking system because I'm one person, and thankfully I can still speak. I can use my fucking brain. I'm still very, mentally abled, and I know shit. And the only thing that's pretty much just holding me back is my fucking physical disability. That's the only thing I have. It's just a physical aspect of my body just not being able to do a lot of physical things. But thankfully, I can still talk. I can still see. I can still hear. I can still think. I can still speak for myself. And I can say this for sure. There's a lot of people out there that do need the assistance, and they don't get it because these fucking snakes, they want you to be bedridden to the point where you're fucking dying, and then they said, okay, yeah, you do need the help. Here, let me go ahead and give you your assistance for the last 2 fucking years of your life because you're fucking dying already because you didn't have the assistance early on in your stage. You're barely making ends meet. You didn't have enough money to pay off your fucking medicine, and now all of a sudden you're fucking dying. You're in your fucking deathbed. Now they decide, okay, yeah, we'll accept your application. Yeah, you do need it because you're now bedridden and you literally cannot do anything because you can't even get off your bed. That is fucking insane. Very unfortunate, but that's just the sad truth of it. The Social Security Administration, people that are involved or are looking into these cases are probably people that have no medical expertise, that have no medical experience, and they're just fucking people that are dying, punching in things in their fucking systems that pop up and their fucking algorithm or whatever they have in place in there, and then whatever it pops up, something that's not what's considered passable in their algorithm system, you get denied. And I think that's fucking bullshit. You're literally playing with human lives and the well-being of individuals who are, I would say, by far the most in need of help because they can't even work because of this illness that's keeping them back, or they can't even sustain themselves, and you're basing that on a fucking computer or on an algorithm or whatever is set in stone. Because I don't know, honestly, I don't know what it is that gets them denied. I honestly don't know, but I'm basing off my experience working for, you know, the government with these benefits like Social Security, not Social Security, excuse me, healthcare, nutrition, and cash assistance, and it's under a set bracket in our system. If you reach a certain threshold, you can be off by 1 cent and you no longer qualify for those benefits. And I assume that's how this shit works as well for Social Security. And it's fucking insane. So that's it, man. That's my rant. That's my story. Me applying or trying to apply for Social Security, and just the utterly broken nature of the whole system, and why I think it also has to be reviewed. I probably will be releasing this video either first or after my review in regards to the welfare system. That's something also that I'm very against, that needs a whole overhaul and review, because there's just so many loopholes and broken aspects of the whole application process that is fucking ridiculous. And they have to fix it, man, because there's a lot of people out there that really need the assistance and they're not getting it, and that's very unfortunate. So with that being said, guys, I do appreciate your time. I know it's been a very long video. It's past the whole 20-minute mark. So yeah, if you guys made it this far, I appreciate you guys. And again, you guys are here from my YouTube channel in regards to like the gaming and Call of Duty wise, and you stuck to the very end. You guys are the true MVPs, because you probably don't even care about any of this stuff, but you stayed regardless. So I appreciate your time. And if you guys just like this video, it helps me out tremendously with the YouTube's algorithm. Definitely helps push this out to other people that might be interested in hearing these types of stories. And who knows, maybe it might be, you know, it might get in the hands of these upper people out there, and they can finally listen to someone that went through the whole process, someone that's under the category of the little blue book and went through the whole process with neurologists, and they got fucking denied. Maybe they might be and they might be able to hear this and say, okay, maybe we do have to fucking fix it. I don't know, you know, that's just wishful thinking. I don't think that's gonna happen, but you know, it can never hurt. But with that being said, guys, yeah, I appreciate your time, and I'll see you all on the next video. All right, peace out.